Coño, qué susto.
Watson, my dear fellow, we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course? In the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running, but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
This window was cut with a diamond, a clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window. All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. A mark undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
¿Y por qué no partió el cristal sin más? Pregunto, ¿eh? Ah, vale. Que se pone tipo sim, ¿no? Para activar cualquiera de los objetos del inventario. Vale, aquí están la cerilla, la navaja, la lupa. Okay. Tenemos 3, vale. ¿Y qué? ¿Y ahora qué? ¿Qué quiere? Pues muy bien. Bueno, esto es lo que han hablado ellos, ¿no? Para saber más o menos de lo que va la cosa. Esto no son nada, supongo que eso será prueba. Este menú no está disponible. Eso serán medallitas y mierda. Hay algunas partituras tiradas en el suelo. Vale.
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
Ah, vale. Bueno. De momento no veo nada raro. Ah, sí, bueno, esto es raro. ¿Qué cojones?
These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
I don't understand why these music scores are covered with soot.
¿Aquí? Vale, de acuerdo.
A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier.
Vale, y luego la otra.
Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire.
Es obvio que esto es un poco aburrido la primera parte.
Heading towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Y estamos en la primera movida.
Strange. There are some objects here that have been knocked over.
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started.
Vale.
These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself.
¿Verdad? Watson estaba aquí ¿para qué? ¿Para solo hacer comentarios?
The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it.
No, aquí ya hemos mirado, ¿no?
Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
Oh shit. Pez muerto, pez muerto.
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room. Strange, there aren't any prints, yet I'm sure that the thief hid here.
Vale, de acuerdo. Pues... no hay más, ¿no? Se han activado como todas las huellas y demás, ¿no? ¿O hay más? Ah, que tengo que hablar con este ya, ¿no?
What do you think, Holmes?
Let us search the room before the police get here. We might throw some light onto all this.
¿Más? No hay, tío. No hay más. No hay más, ¿no? ¿O sí?
2000 años más tarde.
Ah, mira.
All
ahí.
the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
Vale, esa ya está veída también. Veída, veída, veída. Tío. Pues no sé, sería esa la última que me quedaba, ¿no? La única pista, ¿no? Porque esto sí, ya lo hemos visto, pero ya no hay nada más.
What do you think, Holmes?
Let us search the room before the police get here.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they didn't see the thief.
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, you're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
Pues no lo sabemos, porque no ha dicho nada todavía.
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, there was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
The only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
I am pleased to see that you find the situation amusing, Mr. Holmes. Very well then, explain.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
Explain, for heaven's sake, Mr. Holmes.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us, Holmes.
Exactly, because he is small, small and remarkably agile.
You're thinking of a monkey?
And a trained monkey at that, without a doubt, a Leontopithecus rosalia from Central America.
¿Qué coño pinta
The
un mono
animal had
ahí?
been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the
¿Puedo comprar ese
chimney,
mono?
but knocked over the stool, which in
Pero
turn
necesito dinero.
knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor, before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And the necklace?
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What victim? No one is dead?
Yes, Watson. A poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
Eso digo yo.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium, where they remain now.
Ah, vale, y no se ha visto antes. Eso no lo he podido ver antes, cuando ha mirado el pez muerto y ha dicho, mira, aquí hay un...
Marquis, here is your necklace, intact, just a little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does credit to your reputation.
Well, thank
Además,
you
es
so
que
much,
esto ha
Marquis.
venido así,
Do you
muy
wish to
forzado,
verify
porque
the
hemos pasado de los
authenticity of
niños
your
a
jewel?
esto.
No, I recognize it.
No.
I've spent many hours admiring it, you know.
Good. I will return it to its box, and...
Inspector, a bank has just been held up. You must follow me at once. Orders of Scotland Yard.
What times?
Prometo que
Sirs,
me he visto
duty
en gameplay,
calls.
prometo que no.
My regards, Marquis.
Pero,
And well done again, Mr. Holmes.
coño, además.
There, the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Eso digo yo.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
Vamos a ver. Me hace mucha
This
gracia.
morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
Read the paper, Holmes.
Ah, bueno, vale. ¿Y dónde está el periódico? Oh, ¿qué pone aquí? Toby. Toby. Uy, mira. ¿Dónde está el periódico? Lo tienes tú, ¿no, cabrón? Ah. Que si me lo quitas.
Read the paper, Holmes.
Que sí, muy bien. Ah, que te reviento con la navaja. Vale. Periódico Globe Explorer de septiembre de 1898. Sherlock Holmes en casa de la marquesa de Conyngham. ¿Investigación o fiasco? Ayer el afamado detective Sherlock Holmes fue invitado a la mansión de la marquesa de Conyngham para exponer sus conclusiones tras investigar la desaparición del valiosísimo collar samoano. Cabe recordar que la marquesa acudió al detective tras constatar el desconcierto de la policía ante las sorprendentes circunstancias en las que se produjo el robo. Ciertamente la costosa joya desapareció con la puerta de la estancia en la que se exhibía cerrada a cal y canto. La voz de alarma la dieron los empleados del servicio alertados porque oyeron tocar la campana de esa habitación durante la noche. Cuando el marqués, la única persona que tenía la llave, abrió la puerta, todo el mundo se precipitó al interior para extinguir un incendio que se había originado dentro antes de darse ni cuenta de que el collar había desaparecido misteriosamente. Lo más sorprendente de todo es que no hubiese ningún ladrón dentro y que todas las salidas estuviesen cerradas. Como siempre, el señor Holmes resolvió el caso en un abrir y cerrar de ojos y la joya volvió a aparecer. No malgastaré mi tiempo en explicaciones relativas a la desaparición porque preferiría, queridos lectores, centrar su atención en los últimos y sorprendentes acontecimientos tras la marca de Sherlock Holmes que que metió personalmente el collar en la caja fuerte. El marqués se percató de que la joya no era sino una pobre copia de la original. No hay que olvidar que el collar samoano, aunque sencillo y sin ornamento alguno, es único por la rareza de sus perlas, que solo se encuentran en una pequeña parte de la laguna del archipiélago del mismo nombre, y cuya cualidad excepcional es, según los científicos, debida a la fuerte densidad del cristal de aragonita de su composición. El valioso collar traído a principios del siglo por Lord Fenton Arwick, abuelo de la duquesa y explorador eminente, debió de ser parte de la dote de su hija cuando contrajo matrimonio con el duque de Newcastle. Llegados a este punto, voy a plantear una pregunta sencilla. ¿No deberíamos, empleando la lógica, preguntarnos si el collar no fue simplemente y deliberadamente intercambiado por una pieza falsa por el propio Sherlock Holmes? ¡Oh! ¿Cómo osas? Soy consciente, queridos lectores, de que la brutalidad de este planteamiento, sin ideas preconcebidas, puede empatar, no lo escucho en mi vida, a algunos, pero los hechos están aquí. Y nuestras ideas y nuestro buen juicio no deberían dejarse nublar por la administración que todos compartimos con el famoso detective. No es la primera vez que el Globe Explorer ha expresado sus reservas respecto a los métodos de Sherlock Holmes. No olvidemos la contrainvestigación que llevamos a cabo sobre la fuga de Arsène Lupin, aquel francés que disfrutó profanando la imagen de nuestra familia real y que por pura suerte consiguió zafarse del señor Holmes. En aquel momento no dudamos en considerar una complicidad tácita por parte del detective. Para aquellos que conocen al señor Holmes, está claro que su carácter tiende más al oportunismo y a la brillante usurpación que a la defensa altruista de la ley. Quiero poner de relieve que la descripción de este caballero, facilitada por su amigo el Dr. John Watson en su historia, dista mucho de la realidad. De hecho, su comportamiento es desdeñoso, burlón, altivo e insultante hacia la policía, y en particular en su trato con el inspector Baines, no lo sé. Sustituto del Strait, actualmente convaleciente. Además, este hombre consume de forma habitual narcóticos como la heroína y la cocaína. Por eso, estimados lectores, es importante aparcar la buena fama de Sherlock Holmes para formarnos una opinión objetiva y realizar las preguntas pertinentes. ¿El collar que Holmes encontró era falso? En tal caso, ¿por qué no lo mencionó y por qué insistió en meterlo personalmente en la caja fuerte? ¿Tiene el detective algún interés deshonesto en este asunto? ¿O se trata de un simple caso de engaño con el fin de robar al extraordinario collar samoano? En su mano está, queridos lectores, formar sus propias opiniones, pero pueden contar con que el humilde servidor seguirá revelando los dudosos métodos y las motivaciones de alguien a quien el futuro no dudará en apodar Sherlock Holmes el usurpador. Continuará. O. Farley.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that rag?
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knight...
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself.
Mangamandos.
Without the necklace,
La-
the marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
Ala.
What a lovely marriage. Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewelry?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector.
Be my guest.
Very well.
Recoger el collar, eso es. Vamos a ver. Averigua si el collar es o no auténtico. Hombre, hay perlas que tú me dices...
This
esto lo veo un
pearl is a
poco,
different color.
cantoso. Y eso también.
These 3 pearls are of poor quality.
Vamos a ver el cierre. El cierre no puedo leer, el broche y la parte de atrás. Esta parte no. Solo esa parte, ¿no? Ah, vale.
This
aquí está.
pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake.
Vale, me queda
This is
eso.
nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes,
Hombre.
how is it possible?
A ver.
Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
Sencillo de-
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
mis
Goodbye,
pesquisas.
Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
Ahora eres el doctor Watson. ¿What?